The Flash movie is seemingly going to give us a new take on the Black Flash, but what does that mean? Let's talk about that. What's up, my comic comrades? So the villain for the Flash movie is being dubbed Dark Flash, aka Black Flash, or at least loosely based on Black Flash. So because of that, we want to talk about who the character is, why he's such a threat, and why he's likely the villain of the film. With that said, let's dive in. First and foremost, Black Flash made his first cameo on the last page of The Flash Volume 2, issue 138. He then made his first full appearance in issue 141 of the same series in 1998. Now, simply put, Black Flash is the Grim Reaper for the Speedsters. He is a representation of death for any character connected to the Speed Force. There's no real origin for the character, as death is just one of those things that always is. However, there are theories out there about how Black Flash, aka Death for the Speedsters, came to be. One theory is that since normal death wasn't fast enough to catch a speedster, it had to evolve to create something that was fast enough. Enter Black Flash. Another theory is that it's simply just a manifestation of itself. Kind of like if there's life, there has to be death. One cannot exist without the other. But no matter how you slice it, the one thing we all know for certain is that Black Flash is the dark side or dark aspect of the Speed Force. Let's talk briefly about the Black Flash's 3-issue story arc called The Black Flash, which took place in issues 139 through 141 of The Flash, before we theorize why he's the villain of the film. In the story, we see Black Flash coming after Wally West, who was the current Flash at the time. However, during Black Flash's first attempt to kill Wally, he mistakenly kills Linda Park, Wally's girlfriend. Fellow speedsters Jesse Quick and Max Mercury see signs of Wally's death, so Jesse literally tackles Wally as he says, "What the hell? Jesse, have you lost your mind?" She says, "Tell him why we're here, Max." And Max Mercury says, "I'm not sure I can." The blur we saw behind him in the photograph seems to have gone. Jesse asks, "Does that mean we've stopped whatever was going to happen to him? Is Wally safe now?" Wally responds, "Back up a little here. Would somebody mind explaining to me what this is all about?" Max says, "In a nutshell, the specter of death was hanging over you this afternoon, and now he's disappeared. Maybe whatever you were planning to do next would have killed you." And we interrupted. Wally says, "I was supposed to meet the future Mrs. West outside the Flash Museum 30 seconds ago." At which point we see lightning strike Linda, as we see the reflection of Black Flash in her eye. And then on the last page of issue 139, we see Wally mourning as Black Flash just killed Linda with a lightning strike that was meant for him. So Max Mercury and Jesse saves Wally's life, but this in turn causes the death of Linda. This of course devastates Wally, as he has to bury what would have been his future wife. But no matter his loss, death is still after him. The next time Black Flash comes after Wally, he says to himself in issue 141, "Barry Allen, charter member of the Justice League and my predecessor as the Flash. Johnny Quick, legend of the Golden Age with half a century of experience behind him. Even Savitar, inspiration, founder of the Super Speed cult and self-styled god of motion. One by one, death caught up with the fastest man alive, and all the speed in the world couldn't save them. No matter how fast you are, the Black Flash is always faster. Now it's come for me. My name is Wally West, and I'm a walking dead man," as he quite literally stares death in the face. But then Jay Garrick intervenes, aiding Wally against Black Flash long enough for Jay to speed in and take him away. Jay tells Wally, "Everything's under control, son. Max felt the disturbance in the Speed Force when that thing entered our dimension, and he rounded everyone up. I want you to stay here where it's safe. I'll be a distraction and try to figure out what to do." He then locks Wally in a utility closet. This works because at this point in time, Wally has lost his connection to the Speed Force. Meanwhile, Jay Garrick, Max Mercury, and Jesse Quick fight the Black Flash, but they're not faring too well against the speedster embodiment of death. At which point, Wally gets angry, reestablishes his connection to the Speed Force, and tells Black Flash, "Let's boogie." It's at this point we get one of the greatest examples of why Wally West is the fastest Flash, as he races Black Flash all around the globe. Wally says to himself, "The backdrop changes every fraction of a second as I crisscross between continents on a kinetic high I haven't felt in almost 6 weeks. Death keeps pace with me every step of the way, but as the lightning strikes at my heart and the blood rushes to my head, a part of me thrills at the risk of an impossible challenge. He came for me and took Linda, but I swear to God, I'll run this thing into the ground before I let it touch another person I love. The charge I'm getting right now, I could keep this up for weeks, maybe even years. No one has ever felt this alive before, and the world isn't big enough for what I have in mind. A sonic boom is followed by an optical Nagasaki, as I crack time wide open without even working up a sweat. I throw Black Flash a grin, daring it to keep up, and it does exactly as I anticipated. We leave the 20th century on my terms." Wally continues to say, as he races Black Flash 50 million years in the future, a dot comes into focus behind behind me. 800 million years later, I'm distracted for an instant when I realize there are now enough of my descendants to colonize an entire solar system. Black Flash gains a little distance. It's realized what I'm up to and wants to close the gap. Eventually, Wally races Black Flash to the end of time, as he says, the end of life, the universe, and everything, where death ceases to exist, even at a conceptual level, saying, oh yeah, I'm good at this job. But not only did he race Black Flash to the end of time where he ceases to exist, he also was able to pull Linda out of the Speed Force, bringing her back to life. What I'm saying is, Wally is the man. But all that to say, the only way that Wally was able to defeat Black Flash was by dragging it to the end of time, where the very concept of death couldn't exist, which means this is arguably the most deadly and terrifying Flash villain ever created. With that said, why bring in the Black Flash or version of him for the first solo Flash movie as the villain when you would think the most obvious choice would be the Reverse Flash or one of the rogues like Captain Cold or Mirror Master? Well, let's break down what we know about this film thus far. We know, much like in the Flashpoint storyline, Barry will be running back in time to save his mother, which in turn makes him come face to face with an alternate version of himself. At which point, as the trailer tells us, by messing with the timelines, he created a world with no metahumans and no one to defend the world against threats like General Zod. Which is the point in the trailer where Michael Keaton Batman offers to help Barry, where we get the epic Michael Keaton scene where he swoops down and delivers a rock bottom move to someone from 30 feet in the air. God, I can't wait to see this movie! Now, with that said, I think there are two different ways they could go here, at least from my comic book love and brain. The first one is that in messing with the timelines, Barry has angered and disrupted the Speed Force, at which point the Speed Force sends its manifestation of death after Barry. It's kind of like the Speed Force telling Barry, there's something in us that's changing things. We can't allow that, so the Black Flash comes after Barry to kill him for messing with the timelines. That would be the most straightforward way to introduce Black Flash, because the reason would be simple. They could explain it as Black Flash seeing Barry at this point as an infection or bacteria that it needs to get rid of as it's messing with the timelines. Alternatively, there's a second theory, which I prefer, but I don't think they're gonna use it. And that is to have Black Flash come after Barry because of everything I just said. But at the end of the film, we get the twist that it wasn't just Black Flash coming after Barry because he was messing with the timelines. No, it was all set up by the Reverse Flash. Now, in the Flashpoint comic book, Reverse Flash shows up at the end of the story, specifically issues 4 and 5, to tell Barry, look what you did. Barry's all like, I did? What are you talking about? I'm sure you did this. Reverse Flash is like, nope, I'm just basically here to rub it in your face, as he makes Barry remember that he created the Flashpoint universe by trying to go back in time and save his mother, stopping Reverse Flash from killing his mom. Essentially, Reverse Flash is just there to gloat and rub it in Barry's face that he did this to himself. Now, that's the comic book. In the movie, they could reveal Reverse Flash as the true mastermind behind Black Flash. Reverse Flash could reveal himself to Barry right before Black Flash is about to kill him, with Reverse Flash saying something to the effect of, funny, death was coming after me, but your altering the timelines allowed me to manipulate your vibrational pattern to mimic that of myself, making Black Flash go after you. Now you'll be killed by the very thing you created, the Speed Force. For me, that would be close to the comic books, but different enough to work within the context of the film and establish Reverse Flash going forward. Because at that point, obviously Barry would cheat death somehow, and Eobard Thawne would get away, becoming a looming threat for future films. Either way, the point is, Black Flash isn't so much a character as he is a force of nature. A force of nature that cannot be stopped, only delayed. There's no reasoning with it. There's no manipulating it. It is pure death. And now Barry Allen has to face it. And personally, I can't wait to see how it goes. The other thing is that we don't really know how much of what happens in this movie will matter in the end. So hopefully the movie itself makes that clear. But what do you guys think about the role of the Dark Flash in the Flash movie? Let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you in the Speed Force.